One of the most famous clubs in Germany, BVB, Borussia Dortmund, Bundesliga juggernauts. Famously known for their exciting atmospheres you could experience at their home ground, the Signal Iduna Park, and of course the famous Yellow Wall. But most notably, their development of youth academy talent. By now, the majority of Europe have done their transfer shopping in Borussia Dortmund. The club just seems to lose one major talent every single season without failure. Worry no more, Borussia Dortmund fans, as Sir What If has arrived and we're here to save you. It's our second visit over to Germany in one of these experiments. We're going to find out today, what if Borussia Dortmund never sold their star players from over the years? How could they compete? Could they finally overthrow Bayern in the domestic fronts? Could they win the Bundesliga, avenge their Champions League loss all the way back in 2013? The What If series is back, so let's go ahead and get straight into today's career mode experiment. A quick shout out to today's video sponsor, it is OneFootball. If you're looking for the latest transfer rumors, news, videos, and everything the footballing world has to offer, make sure to check it out. The app is completely free and it's available both on iOS and Android. You can track your favorite Wonder Kids, competitions, teams, stats, and much more. The download link is in the description. It's a must-have app for every football fanatic. And just before we get into today's action, if you go on to enjoy the video and love this little What If series, make sure to go ahead and smash that like button down below. If you're new around here, hit subscribe and turn on those notifications. We've got FIFA 20 content coming out on the regular. And also comment down below, who do we miss in this squad and what team should be next in this What If series. As we're going to simulate through 3 seasons in career mode to see how the ex-players gel together, how they can perform, and what silverware they can win for the club. Right now, we're going to reveal the grand total that this Borussia Dortmund squad equates to right here in the transfer market. Based off all their values, it is a whopping £784.2 million. I honestly think this team hold a record for that squad value, basically £750 million. Nevertheless, we're going to jump straight into the squad, position by position. You know how we do by now. It's a grand total of 33 players in the squad, 9 defenders, 2 goalkeepers, 10 attackers, and 12 midfielders. As we land on the goalkeeping spot, just a little bit of a disclaimer, Roman Berkey is actually still at the club. We actually couldn't really find a goalkeeper. Had to go with the current goalkeeper right now at Dortmund, the Swiss international Roman Berkey. We're going to move on from the goalkeeping position because basically they've had Weidenfeller for so many years. Basically, Dortmund have never sold a great goalkeeper throughout the last decade at least. As we move over to the defenders, we're going to start off with Abdou Diallo. He is now at PSG, was recently sold in the summer, the 23-year-old, 80 overall, and he can also play at left back. I honestly got no idea why Dortmund sold him. He is a quality defender and probably just needed a bit more game time, a bit more time to adjust. As we scroll down to a bit of an older centre back, and I know Matt Hummels has returned to Dortmund, but he was sold to Bayern Munich. They're bitter rivals, and he's made his return this season. The now 30-year-old, the German international, just a world-class, top-quality defender, 87 overall, and he is going to qualify for this What If team. Marc Bartra will decisively be his defensive partner. The Spaniard did have a little bit of a spell at Borussia Dortmund. He was then sold onto Real Betis, and the 28-year-old, now 83 overall, will definitely be a key asset in the defense. Sven Bender is another German. The 30-year-old now joins his brother over at Bayer Leverkusen. Neven Subotic, the Serbian, now 30 years of age. We've got a lot of aging centre-backs in this squad, which scares me. Nevertheless, if you guys remember him back in the day, 2013, 2014, he was part of that Champions League squad that Dortmund had and almost nearly won the final. He is now playing his football at Union Berlin, Bundesliga new boys, and we go over and scroll down to one of the younger centre-backs, probably one of the more promising. It is Matthias Ginter. The youngster wasn't really given much of a chance at BVB after coming up through their youth academy. He's now playing his football at another Borussia team, Borussia Mönchengladbach in the Bundesliga, and he's killing it over there. And it's our last centre-back, Socrates, now over at Arsenal, the 31-year-old Greek. He's a veteran and he returns to Borussia Dortmund, 82 overall. The aging centre-backs issue is going to be a problem. As we progress into the midfield department now, it is going to be a recent transfer that has happened in January. Julian Weigl, another young German, he is transferred over to Benfica on a permanent basis, and Borussia Dortmund have lost another key youngster, as we find Ivan Perisic, now the 30-year-old Croatian left midfielder. He is on loan at Bayern Munich, funnily enough, owned by Inter Milan. Perisic did spend a couple of seasons at Dortmund earlier in the decade. He was sold on to Wolfsburg, fellow Bundesliga opposition, and the rest was history. Now it's another young central midfielder that had a little bit of a spell at Borussia Dortmund. It was quite minor. Mikel Merino, the Spaniard, who then ventured onto Newcastle United and now currently plays for Real Sociedad in La Liga. He's quite versatile as he can play as CM, CDM, and Cam, and he's now starting to show some promising signs, but back then he just couldn't break into the squad. Moritz Leitner is another German midfielder, not too great of a player, but he's now currently playing his football at Norwich in the Premier League. You might have remembered him from career modes gone by. However, this German midfielder, you definitely do remember, one of my favourite German wonder kids to sign in years gone by. It is Ilkay Gundogan burst onto the scene at the German outfit, and he was sold to Manchester City. The rest was history. Eventually sold on for big money to Manchester City, winning Premier League titles, English titles, all over the gap. He will be a main starter in our central midfield alongside Kevin Campbell. The Slovenian did have a minor stint at Borussia Dortmund, now playing over at RB Leipzig, 83 rated. He is another versatile midfielder we do have, and this is quite a strong department we've got going on so far. Another minor German midfielder that I decided to include that didn't quite make it at Dortmund is Leonardo Bittencourt. You also might remember him from around FIFA 13, FIFA 14. Shinji Kagawa, damn man, how the mighty have fallen. What on earth has happened to this guy? 30 years of age, one of Japan's best ever players, and yeah, after the move to Manchester United, he returned back to Dortmund, and now he is out in Spain. He's still only 30 years of age, which surprises me, but at 79 overall, he has fallen from grace. As we continue to scroll through mediocre players, no disrespect Henrik Mkhitaryan, but it just hasn't been the same since you left Manchester United for Arsenal. He's now out on loan at Roma in the Serie A. The Armenian did have one of his best ever seasons in his career in his last stint at Borussia Dortmund before making the big money move to Old Trafford. Another player who made the move to the Premier League was Andriy Yarmolenko, the Ukrainian, now at West Ham. And also another fallen Premier League hero, Andrei Schürrle, a hero for Germany at the World Cup in 2014. He failed at Chelsea, he failed at Dortmund, and he failed at Fulham, and now he's out at Spartak Moscow. Oh, Andrei, where did it all go wrong? And here we go, it is one of the most promising wonder kids in the world, Ousmane Dembele. After one promising season at Borussia Dortmund, Barcelona were quick to snap on the heels of the Frenchman. The Catalan Giants came knocking, and unfortunately, he hasn't really taken off, and he hasn't really paid off all too well for Barca. Upon his return, we'll see if he can do anything for the club, as he is just a gun in career mode. As we go ahead and take a look at another winger, it is Captain America himself, Christian Pulisic. Man from the United States was sold over to Chelsea, and he has been there for quite some time now, half a season, and the deal was already finalized like this time last year. So Adnan Januzaj is a player that just qualifies and scrapes into this team, as he was out on loan at Borussia Dortmund. We've included him in the team. He's now over at Real Sociedad, but hey, fortunately for the Belgian, he makes his return in today's experiment. As we move over to an absolutely lethal front line, and it's a career mode legend. You all know enough about him by now. Mario Götze, 2014 World Cup winning goal. The German has returned back to his club, and you swear that Bayern really have a knack of stealing Dortmund's best players from over the years, especially in the last decade. Another player, another Belgian that barely qualifies for this list is Michy Batshuayi. Again, he was on loan from Chelsea, 25 years of age, and Batman up top was finding the back of the net quite frequently. He hasn't regained that form ever since leaving the club though. And would you take a look at that? It's another classic case of Bayern Munich poaching Dortmund's best players. Robert Lewandowski, who's been scoring goals week in, week out for Bayern pretty much ever since they bought him. Arguably should have been in the team of the year. One of the most lethal strikers in Europe is going to be matched up top with Serie A's man on form right now, Ciro Immobile, Lazio's goal scorer, who can't stop hitting the back of the net. He flopped over in Germany, but he's leading the Serie A goal scoring charts by a mile. And just when you thought it couldn't get any better, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, the African hitman, is returning back to the club as well. Sold over to the Gunners in Arsenal in 2018, and he's making a triumphant return. We've got an elite strike force lined up, ready to take on these next up-and-coming seasons. We also have Alexander Isak. The young Swedish wonder kid was sold on to Real Sociedad, and that is how the team is looking. If Dortmund kept the majority of their players, this is how their squad would be shaping up. Give or take a few players, this team could really have the potential to go ahead and win the Champions League. We're gonna have to wait and see. And this is how the team will be lining up due to the fact that they don't really have any sufficient wing backs. We're gonna have to go with the 3-4-2-1 formation. That trident up top, Immobile, Lewandowski, and Aubameyang have just got goals written all over them. The back three of Bartra, Hummels, Diallo, Dembele, and Pulisic on the wings, and the central midfield partnership of Gundogan and Campbell. The sky is the limit for this squad, so what if can take them to great heights. Now let's see what kind of performances they could conjure up in their first full debut season. So season 1 is over and the Bundesliga results are in, and take a look at that. Dortmund have won the league. They've taken it out 3 points above Bayern. It was a tight title race with RB Leipzig only a few points behind, and that is quite a low points tally to win the league, but considering there's 34 games, yeah, it's understandable. While domestic success in the league is accomplished, let's take a look at the DFB Pokal and know it's Frankfurt versus Bayern Munich in the final. Where did Borussia Dortmund get knocked out? Quite early in round 3 at Leverkusen. They came in 4th. They eliminated us and all our hopes achieving the German double in season 1, and that is one hell of a disappointing Champions League stint as well. Finishing in 3rd, they go ahead and only get 5 points. I know it's a group with Barcelona and Inter. We've got some elite level players in the squad and they should have been performing better than that. Over to the Europa League now. They're in the round of 32, defeating Moscow 6-1 on aggregate. Absolutely demolished them, and then they took out Shakhtar Donetsk 5-2 on aggregate and a dominant display, and then they edged out Wolves 3-2 in the quarterfinals. In the semi-finals, they edged out Lyon as well 3-2, and in the final, they're going to be Manchester United. A chance for cup silverware, and it's arrived in a European competition. Let's go ahead and simulate this one. And here is how the squad is lining up for tonight's Europa League final. If they go ahead and win this, it kind of makes up for that terrible group stage performance in the Champions League and getting eliminated so early in the DFB Pokal. Let's go ahead and pray that BVB can get one over the Red Devils, and it's Ousmane Dembele with the goal. Henrik Mkhitaryan off the bench, the ex-Manchester United player. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and United are defeated to the ex-Borussia Dortmund squad, and I assure you, they're going to have all their eyes laser focused on that Champions League competition next season. They got to avenge that terrible group stage performance. German League champions and European champions, 2 pieces of silverware acquired this season, and these were our main performers. It's Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, the Gabonese striker, with 32 goals and 14 assists. That is 46 goal contributions. Absolutely gargantuan from Aubameyang. As we take a look down at Robert Lewandowski, I was kind of expecting a bit more from the 31-year-old, the Polish striker, only getting 23 goals and 8 assists, but 31 goal contributions is nothing to disrespect. Ciro Immobile back on his return to Germany, only with 14 goals and 1 assist. The front 3 attacking trident with a whopping 69 goals in all competitions. Mario Götze, the playmaker turned centre forward, was creating and also scoring with 12 goals and 9 assists. Adnan Januzaj was a surprising season, 7 goals for him. Mikel Moreno as well did a fair shift in midfield, 7 goals and 8 assists. Mark Bartra from centre back with 6 goals. Ivan Perisic also with 5 goals and 9 assists this season, with Kevin Campbell getting 3 goals and 3 assists. As we scroll down, Yarmolenko, Julian Fargal only with 2 goals and 3 assists. Ousmane Dembele played that game in the final, and that was his only goal throughout the whole entire season. He must have had injury problems. Mkhitaryan, Kagawa only with a goal, and these were the rest of the players. A disappointing season from Christian Pulisic upon his return as well. Ilkay Gundogan with 6 assists from midfield. We'll take a look at the clean sheets this season for Roman Berkey. It was a whopping 23. A rock solid start to this experiment. 1 season down, 2 to go. We're going to see how the old and aging players are going to affect the team dynamic over in season 2. Can we replicate that success? We're going to go ahead and find out. But the DFB Pokal and the Champions League, we're coming for you. And here we are as season 2 wraps up. It's the closest title rate to date, as we achieved 90 points, 9 more than last season, and allowed us to have that 1 point gap over Bayern. They must be fuming right now. It's a carbon copy top 4 with RB Leipzig and Leverkusen finishing in 3rd and 4th. Our rivals Schalke finishing down in 13th. As there we have it, back-to-back Bundesliga champions. Life couldn't get any better, but it is the 1st versus 2nd place in the Bundesliga up in the DF Pokal final. We've made it to the big dance after our round 3 elimination last year. We knocked out Gladbach, we knocked out Heidenheim, and we knocked out RB Leipzig. Or at least we have a final to simulate and look forward to as we take a look on our Champions League results. We finish in 2nd with the group Atletico Madrid, finishing on top in the round of 16. We're matched up against Barcelona, and of course, they knocked us out 3-1 on aggregate, and our Champions League dream ends there. Well, then 2 cup finals in 2 seasons. You can't get much better than that. This is our starting 11. Roman Berkey's picked up an injury, so that's going to be a major loss in the final. Marino and Januzaj make it into the starting 11 as we take on Bayern. It is going to be a tough afternoon in Berlin. Let's see if we can get the victory here in the German Cup. But no, it is a 2-0 defeat to the hands of Milik and David Alaba. Yeah, that goalkeeper situation was just never going to help us out, and we go begging yet again for that DFB Pokal trophy. After Bayern got our revenge on us after we clinched the Bundesliga by 1 point, these were our star performers again, and it's the Trident doing the job up top. It is Robert Lewandowski this time being our top goal scorer with 35 goals and 7 assists. 42 goal contributions for the 32-year-old Pole as we move down to Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang with 25 goals and 9 assists. And Ciro Immobile, much improved upon last season, 21 goals and 1 assist. And it's 10 more goals they produced in comparison to this season and last season. The attacking Trident with a total of 79 goals. Perisic also got in amongst the acts, the Croatian with 8 goals and 3 assists. Mario Götze with another consistent season, 6 goals and 7. Ilkay Gundogan with 5 goals and 4 assists. Adnan Januzaj slowly making his way into the team, and our assist leader Kevin Campbell with 4 goals and 10 assists. Marco Marino also improving and earning that starting 11 position. Marc Bartra in there as well, and Ousmane Dembele has not been a success upon his return to BVB at the moment, only with 3 goals and 30 appearances. I expected so much better from the Frenchman, if I'm honest. Batshuayi, Isaac, Schürrle, Mkhitaryan, Bittencourt, Leitner, Weigl just continue to be just mediocre as ever. I mean, Julian Weigl got 6 assists, so that is alright. Hummels and Diallo, Ginter in there as well with solid appearances at centre-back. And our injured Roman Berkey was probably the difference maker in the final. 18 clean sheets for him this season. So we weren't able to achieve our silverware targets this year, so let's hope next season provides us with the goods. The Champions League and the DFB Pokal we are yet to win, so we've got 2 massive competitions to get under our belt. Let's see how we do in the final season. And here are the results of the 3rd and final season. It came down to the wire, and it went down to goal difference there. Bayern edge out the title. We both had 92 points. That's got to be such a difficult way to lose the title, but hey, I guess what goes around comes around. We put a massive effort in there, being undefeated throughout the season. They have just been at our throats throughout this entire experiment. And in the German Super Cup, it's like the Charity Shield of Germany. The winners of the DFB Pokal versus the winners of the Bundesliga. And yeah, Bayern took that one out as well, 2-1. We ended up getting eliminated on penalties in the quarterfinals of the DFB Pokal, 4-3 to RB Leipzig. And the curse of this competition continues for us as they face Bayern Munich in the final. Alright, so our last hope, our last saving grace in this experiment is the Champions League. We finish on top of Group G with our Europa League finalists in Season 1, Manchester United. We made it through to the round of 16, edging past AC Milan 3-2 in aggregate. We lost to Man City. And just like in the German Cup, we lose in the quarterfinals 2-1 to Manchester City. And hey, they went on to go into the final up against Barcelona. And it's European failure. We only took out the Europa League, and it's another disappointing season with absolutely no silverware. I mean, it's a bit of a bittersweet ending to Season 3, but these were our star performers. The Trident are our top 3 yet again, with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang taking the golden boot, 26 goals and 5 assists. For Robert Lewandowski, now 33 years of age, 24 goals and 6 assists, 30 goal contributions. Mikel Moreno has been probably one of the most improved in this squad, 16 goals and 9 assists. And then Ciro Immobile with another lackluster season in there, with 15 goals and 1 assist. It is Ousmane Dembele's best season yet, believe it or not. The Frenchman with 8 goals and 6 assists. Marc Bartra from centre-back somehow getting 4 goals and 4 assists. Also Mario Götze in there with 4 and 3. Julian Weigl getting 4 and 6. And then Adnan Januzaj with a decent little season, as well as Ivan Perisic. Isaac off the bench got 2 goals, as well as Matthias Ginter from centre-back. We also had Pulisic, yeah, not doing too well. Only 1 goal and 2 assists for the American. And then, you know, the mediocre to declining players already not getting all too much game time. Already Gundogan going down to 9 appearances, no goals and no assists for him this season. And then we have Roman Berkey in net with 22 clean sheets. So unfortunately, there was no Champions League, no German Cup to celebrate, but winning the Bundesliga and the Europa League in Season 1 was our peak. We did it back to back, so I guess that's an achievement, but European and continental glory was nowhere to be seen. I honestly just think we set the bar so high for these Dortmund players. Our expectations were honestly through the roof, and I think the pressure just got to them at the end of the day. Anyways, guys, that is how we're gonna wrap up today's video. If you did go on to enjoy it, make sure to smack that like button down below, hit subscribe, and turn on that notification bell. It would be much appreciated as we're on the road to 50,000 subscribers. Follow me on Twitter, the link is in the description, and also comment down below what club should be next in the What If experiments. As always, hopefully you did enjoy. I've been BCHD, and I'll catch you all in the very next video.